Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Our guest is Mr. Andrew Mwanta, and we are going to be looking at developments in Edo State, that is political developments. A fine morning to you, Mr. Andrew Mwanta. A pleasure for coming on.
Yeah, good morning, Yuri. It's a pleasure to be here this morning, and good morning to our viewers at home.
Indeed. We've just come out of the recently concluded by-elections. Maybe we could start from there. What would be your assessment of the conduct of those elections and the results?
Yeah, thank you. That was one of the 16, I think 12 states, that's where this by-election took place. And Edo was one of those 12 states where this by-election took place. But generally, I think the performance, because from the last result I saw, out of 16 constituencies, the APC won 12. Of that 12 was the by-election that took place in Edo Central Senatorial District. Our position hitherto occupied by the Edo State Governor, Senator Mondo Wevelo, and of course, the Ovia Federal Constituency, a position hitherto occupied by the current Edo Deputy Governor, His Excellency Dennis Idahosa. And if you ask me, I think the performance is a reflection of the popular acceptance of the APC government of Senator Mondo Wevelo in Edo State. Because in Edo Central, where the governor comes from, our party, the APC, won across boards. You know, the 5 local governments in Edo Central, it was a clean sweep for the APC candidates. You know, Senator-elect Joseph Ikbeya.
Yeah.
Then in the Ovia Federal Constituency, Honorable Mosebe Igbenedion, who was a candidate in that election of the APC, also had a clean sweep. You know, she was one-time member of the House of Reps, so that the people of that constituency voted for her on the strength of the performance of Senator Mondo Wevelo, because it was a bloodbath, political bloodbath for both the PDP and the other political parties that participated. You know, the performance of the Article Coalition, ADC, was nothing to write home about. In Edo Central, they didn't win a single ward. Not even a single unit they won. In Edo, that's in Edo South, that's the Ovia Federal Constituency. So the performance of the ADC was abysmal. It was as bad as the performance of the PDP.
Okay.
I think the PDP now exists on paper in Edo State because as a political party, they don't have a substratum. At the moment, they are factionalized.
Would you say...
And that's reflected in their poor performance in the by-election. And you know, when you look at this, if you are to situate it, in the US, they do have midterm elections. It's more or less a referendum to assess the party in power's performance. So if we are to go by that, I think the APC have been rated positively by Nigerians across these 16 constituencies whose results I'm reviewing. Because I know there are 1 or 2 by-election results that were delayed, the one in Zamfaranko, so I don't have the full facts of that. But if you ask me, I think the performance was good in Edo, and we must be grateful to the people who gave the mandate. We appreciate Edo people, and the only way the governor can say thank you is to continue to deliver the dividends of democracy to Edo people through his social contract, Project Shine. And I thank God that, you know, I'm a witness of such a very huge victory recorded by our party, the APC, in the last by-election.
You know, of course, indeed, from your point of view, of course, the other parties that, you know, lost out, so to speak, this time around, are probably not going to, you know, it's like never say die. So they are saying that, okay, there are more events. But I wonder if you think that what has happened in this case is something of a precursor, an indication of what 2027 will look like in Edo State.
Very well. I think as a midterm poser, because the question is, most of those in the House of Reps and in the Senate were elected May 29, 2023. So by May 29 this year, or rather, the general inauguration was May 29th. It was sometime in June or thereabouts, they were inaugurated. So if you calculate between June 2023 to date, it's over 3 years. We had this election in August. So it was a midterm assessment of both the Tinubu administration and the performance of those in parliament. So an indication of what the politics of 2027 will look like. So if we are to score, we will score APC 70% in view of the results that emerged from that election. And I think the closest, of course, from the results we have, is ABGA, that won 2 seats in Anambra, not even PDP. So it shows that the PDP as a party sinking like the Titanic that sank in 1911. Because as we speak, they are still struggling with this issue of their convention. And the ADC coalition, and I think the president was right when he said it's a coalition of confusion, because their performance is nothing to write home about.
Okay. Well, that is one. The other thing, looking at, sort of focusing on Edo State, we have a little report, a little package that we have together. Let's see that, and then I'll come back and we'll continue our conversation.
Thank you.
Meet Benga Oreshegun, a fearless voice and an advocate for the truth. He's bringing fresh energy and bold insights to journalists' Hangout.
Get ready for deeper analysis and dynamic perspectives. Join me and Babajide Kolade Otitoju with other veteran journalists on Journalists Hangout. Weekdays from 5 p.m. and on Sundays, 1:30 p.m.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
I write to request the kind approval of the National Assembly.
Behind every decision, every vote,
The ayes have it.
and every heated debate lies the heartbeat of democracy.
This matter is very, very important. I therefore rule you out of order.
Welcome to the place where it all unfolds. Every week, I take you inside the inner workings of the assembly, where laws are shaped, decisions are made, and the future of the nation is decided.
The ayes have it.
Join me, Tijesu Adeoye, and other seasoned experts, analysts, and lawmakers at the National Assembly
as they uncover the real stories behind the headlines and offer unfiltered insight on the most pressing issues of the day.
This is your front row seat to the heart of power.
Watch the Hallowed Chambers every Saturday at 9 p.m. only on TVC News.
Every second, every minute, every hour, and every day, time doesn't just tick away. It's a countdown to political decisions that shape our world.
This country must move.
Imagine the impact these decisions have on our lives. Some are consequential, others may leave us intrigued or baffled.
You will have no better friend and partner than Nigeria.
Step in and feel the frenzy like never before. Join me every weekday for an hour of fact-finding interviews where questions cut to the core.
How would you say your administration has fared in these sectors?
I will dig in to get to the heart of issues, from local politics to global insight. Join me as I unearth the power plays, jaw-dropping revelations, and the unfiltered truth. This isn't just politics, it's unraveling the stories that matter. Brace yourself for Politics Tonight every weekday at 8 p.m., where every decision echoes along the corridors of our lives. Politics Tonight, only on TVC News.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers. Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyinbo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call permanent solutions.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crumbs of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe is achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless. I'm Adedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Modi Okpebholo was elected the 6th governor of Edo State on the platform of the APC after the Independent National Electoral Commission declared him winner of the 21st of September 2024 governorship election. Though fiercely contested, his victory was upheld at the tribunal, sustained by the Court of Appeal, and finally affirmed by the Supreme Court. Receiving Omosede Igbinedion, the governor says the outcome of the by-election once again demonstrates the overwhelming support of Edo people for the APC and further validates the legitimacy of his administration mandate.
When they were crying, they've stolen their mandate, the people were waiting. One day, they will let you know you didn't have mandate at all, which is exactly the reflection of this election. I'm telling you, by the grace of God, Edo is APC. And we love Asiwaju. Our promise of 2.5 million votes must complete. We are serious about it. We will not sleep. We'll continue to work hard to achieve our goal.
For the Deputy Governor, Dennis Idahosa, the visit was an opportunity to formally present his successor to the governor.
In the Ovia Federal Constituency, my successor. So I'm here to present her to you this morning to also thank you for showing a purposeful leadership a very lovely, supportive mechanism of Edo people. And Ovia people has asked me to thank you on their behalf.
On her part, the member-elected Omosede Igbinedion expressed gratitude to the governor for his support, pledging to leverage her experience to deliver effective representation for the people of Ovia Federal Constituency.
And I want to promise the party, the state, and my constituents that I will certainly not let them down, and I will do my utmost best to represent the people of Ovia Federal Constituency.
With the by-election victory, the All Progressive Congress has further consolidated its hold in Edo State, an outcome the governor insists reflects the trust, confidence, and love of the people for his party. Valentine Osumbo, TVC News, Benin.
Okay, so there you are, Mr. Mwanta. That's what you were talking about. Those are some of the victors. On to other things happening in Edo State. You know, Edo State politics are centralizing that. There's this whole matter, is there not? There's the matter of new commissioners in order to form a cabinet. Mr. Mwanta, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Talk to me about the 13 commissioners, please, that are coming on.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. In between, the governor had appointed 8 commissioners, along with the number of advisors that the House of Assembly approved for him. And, the politics that brought him into power, was a combination of those who moved from PDP before the election into the APC and other political players. And as such, there was need to accommodate across the 3 senatorial districts the various interests. So it was just recently, some of the issues that we had across the various local governments were resolved. And of course, the governor was now able to send, the list in batches of 13 commissioner nominees. When you add that to the existing 8, so we have about 22 so far. The Constitution makes it mandatory for each local government to have a commissioner in ESCO. And as such, Edo having 18 local governments, so we are now almost having a complete spread across the various local governments in Edo State. But what I find very interesting is the quality of persons that have been nominated by the governor. We have the likes of Kasim Afegwa, a public affairs analyst, and a journalist of great repute as one of the nominees. We have a very senior lawyer, Professor Roland Otaru SAN, as one of the nominees. Then we have a former Algon national president, Honorable Felix Ahagwe, amongst other persons. So having these persons come into government as civil commissioners will help to further expand the scope of performance of Senator Mono Bevolo, who is in a hurry to deliver the dividends of democracy to all Edo people, irrespective of their political affiliation, religious background, and what have you. Because that is the beauty of democracy, for those in government to serve the people to the best of their ability. And you find that so far, the governor, even without the full complement of his cabinet, has done what others could not do. First, we have political stability in Edo. The governor works very closely with parliament without any form of chaos, as we saw in the previous administration. Respect for traditional institutions, respect for religious leaders, respect for elders. There's security in our states. This issue of cultism and kidnapping, I've been given a death knell. Just recently, the head of a cult group, his hideout was discovered, and the place was, deactivated, by the Edo Security Force, along with the police and other, security personnel. So gradually, our state is becoming safe, and that's the only way you can drive development. Because without security, you cannot be talking of investments, you cannot be talking of development. So this is one governor that has performed so well. So with this new team joining cabinet,
We expect more performance, we expect more results, and I know people will be better for it.
Indeed. If some of the names in there are anything to go by, highly experienced statesmen themselves that, are being, suggested by the governor, have been sent to the State House of Assembly. But how is it working? Is it that let's get confirmation from the House of Assembly first, later on we shall attach the office to any of these commissioners? Is that the way it's working, or do you already know some of the offices that are meant for some of the names, notable names that have been mentioned?
Yeah, very good question. I didn't add that of the 13 persons, 8 of them have been confirmed by the House of Assembly after going through the process of screening. I think the balance for the process has started today, and hopefully before midweek, the process will be complete. And I think it is on the day of the inauguration, the portfolios will be assigned. Unlike when the governor came in, before forwarding the names, he assigned portfolios to 2. I mean, it's a matter of style. But I think for the others that were appointed, it was subsequently their portfolios were assigned. But people can easily hazard a guess in view of people's areas of specialization. Because this is one government that places square pegs in square holes or round pegs in round holes. The rest are sure that, portfolios will be, given along with track record, and so that such persons will be fit for purpose.
Well, exactly, at the end of the day. But then again, if you were to look at some of the appointments that Mr. President made when his own time to choose his ministers, there were speculations based on what we're talking about, people thinking that they knew certain people and knew where their likely stations would be, only for the results to come out and Mr. President's preferences to come out, just to find out that, hey, these people are not there. For instance, Prince Afebua, for instance, there are a lot of people that would think that that man is going to be in communications area, that whole communicating the policy of the government. But you can never tell. You can never tell.
You never know.
Yeah, exactly.
Having a person like Dele Aleke, that was one time a commissioner for information and strategy in Lagos, now heading mines, a ministry of, I think, solid minerals.
It shows that
because that's one area that is untapped. So the president's wisdom cannot be challenged in that area, because if you ask me, he has performed very well, creditably, in reviving that ministry and that sector, the mining sector.
Because as you also were indicating,
because we now talk of energy transitions, we now talk of this issue of solid minerals, and I think he has been able to show capacity. And I believe that in Edo, most of the persons that have been brought on board are people of not just good capacity, but they are tested and tried. So the guess game continues. As for Afebua, I'll keep my seed lips until when the governor makes his own assignment of portfolios.
Indeed. I think Mazi Okorafor has come on the line.
Afebua is my very good friend, and you agree with me that his engagement on TV, both as a former commissioner for information in Edo and as a public affairs analyst, top-notch.
Indeed. Is Mazi Okorafor? Good morning.
They should look into this issue of kidnapping, because people coming to they will pass out from that about Abuja through Awusi, they do state. It's always a problem. Even if you are going to we throw that side. So they should find, if you are going to go to Onitsha, you must throw that side. They should do the needful, because the kidnapping rate is getting out of proportion. Because I don't know what it is, because I know it's not only a state, it's everywhere. But it is not good for one when you leave Abuja, you are going to your place, or you are passing through a another place. You start having, maybe you are coming from Onitsha, you are going to Lagos, Benin on the Lagos road. You still having all these problems, people running, it's a kidnapping on the road. It's not healthy. I agree that it's everywhere, but the thing is that then there be all these vigilantes which the government has said, I'm not even talking about state police, because what happened in Anambra last week now, with the copper and the vigilante, they just encourage everybody about the vigilante, because nobody is trusting them. although they will tell us that to buy drone is expensive, even though to buy drone is expensive. If you look at what happened in Ukraine and Russia, see, even when Iran went to Israel, it's still they say 300 and something drones. So I just should not talk about to buy one drone that is expensive. Then the government use the tax the local government authorities, give them their response, give them resources. Let them tackle all this local kidnapping, whether international or state. The earlier they do, the better, because peace is very, very good. The government is when you have security. Good morning. The government is fine. Kudos to his government. And all this commission say you have done appointments. They should do needful. When they give you job, do the 24-hour service to satisfy the principal that gave the job. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Okay, Andrew, what do you say to that? You know, you've spoken about things are getting better, security is improving, but that viewer there is picking up on that and saying that, look, he's still a bit apprehensive about the state of security, indeed, specifically kidnapping in Edo State. I don't know if you agree with that assessment or not.
Yeah, I think what my friend Mazi Ukarafo has said is not very far from what we have in reality, because it's a national problem. You know, even reference what recently happened in Anambra, which I in the sister station condemned, because I feel we should bring in empathy into law enforcement, particularly for those persons who are not traditionally members of either our national police or other security agencies. So in Edo, what we are doing differently is that before you are engaged as a vigilante member, you go through rigorous training, and that training will also include profiling these individuals, trying to know their track records, trying to ensure that they have some level of formal education, and a background check generally is done, because we had our own experience, and that provided a learning curve for the state government and the security agencies we work with as partners. But if you ask me, so far so good, we've been able to deal with the issue of kidnapping headlong. You know that Edo is at the middle of Nigeria. You know, if you are going to the south from the north, you go to Edo. You are going to the east from the north, you go to Edo. So Edo is at the middle of Nigeria. And so because of that, there's bound to be this problem associated with insecurity, particularly when you look at first portions of the federal road, with this present governor, along with the commitment of the federal government, has fixed and is still in the process of fixing. Because the reason why we have kidnappers stay in the forest is when they know that there's a breaks down or slows down, they use that as an opportunity. And the governor too has provided hundreds of bikes to have local vigilantes to comb our forests. Even this Fulani herdsmen problem.
Motorcycles, that is.
Livestock.
You said bikes,
was recently set up.
I'm sure you mean. I'm sure you mean motorcycles.
So a whole lot is happening.
Okay, I'm sure you mean motorcycles, not bikes, not bicycles.
Motorcycles, sorry, not just bikes.
Motorcycles. Exactly.
The type security personnel use. Yeah.
Okay. George has been waiting to join the program. Good morning, Mr. George.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, good morning, and good morning to your guest.
Yes, thank you.
Uncle Yuri, the by-election, to start with, the by-elections that took place last week, indeed, is a referendum on Mr. President. I took a second look at it over the weekend and discovered that the elections were held in the north, in the east, in the south, and in the west, the four cardinal areas of the country. The President's Party won in 13 out of the 16 seats being contested for, 13 out of 16, including states that are being controlled by opposition parties. For example, Taraba State, that is a key PDP state, the APC won there. Adamawa State, the home state of Atiku Abubakar, being governed by the PDP, the APC won there. Now, if that is anything to go by, it is an indication of what is to come in 2027. It tells me that the real Nigerians, they appreciate what Mr. President is trying to do to reset this country. He has gone to several countries in the quest to make sure our economy is strong, to make sure that Nigeria takes its rightful place in the community of nations, and our economy has been reset. We are only now trying to grow it. Uncle Yori, last week I heard that the federal government and the state and local government shared 2 trillion naira in August. 2 trillion. Before Tinubu came to power, the highest that had been shared as fact is 550 billion. I recollect that vividly. Now, 2 trillion within 2 years that he came in. Even a blind person can see that this man is trying his best and he knows the way and he is following it. I am very convinced that we will get there someday.
Indeed.
The pains are there, but they are ameliorating now. Gently. Nothing is rising. If anything, things have started to go down, down, and down. And it is normally gradual like that in any economy. For Edo State, I was excited to hear Prince Kazim Afegwa is among the commissioners. He is our friend on this program.
Yes.
And I'm very, very sure of his capacity. I saw the list. The government is very deliberate on who is speaking because he wants to perform and he doesn't want excuses. Let him keep it up, and we wish him all the strength.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Mr. George. Well, there you have it, Mr. Andrew Mwanta. There are those who are watching Edo State and are happy with what is going on, especially that aspect of, the...
I agree less with Mr. George. And his assessments, if you ask me, of the president's performance, top-notch. Because if you look at the student loan, across the various states, we have many indigent students who could not afford university education that now have hope. Not just university education, tertiary education. And the good part about it is that it gives them the opportunity of paying in the future, when they now start working. And I think this one president that has brought succor to Nigerians across boards, the economy has improved very greatly because the funds that states used to get have increased, has tripled, or even quadrupled. The performance of our governor is tied to the quality of allocations, increased allocations we get from the federation account. And we have the president to thank for that. When he removed subsidy, people thought it was the end of the world. But you see, fuel prices are coming down and states now have more funds. Even local government autonomy, which was introduced by him, has also helped local government chairmen to carry out certain projects that will affect the people at the grassroots level. So the performance of the APC in the last election is a true reflection. Just as George said, and as I said previously, a referendum to test the performance of the Tinubu administration and the APC as the party ruling in some states of the federation, and of course, Edo being one of them. So it was a referendum, and it's a reflection of what will happen in 2027. We are very sure that the president will win his re-election in 2027, and I think he's performing even more. He was in Brazil, he was in Japan, negotiating deals that will bring development to our country, that will improve our power sector and other sectors of our economy. So kudos to our president, and Nigerians will show reward for his performance come 2027.
Okay, indeed. Recently, is when we had Edo in focus, the news then was on the infrastructure front, and talking particularly about dilapidated schools, structures, buildings that could not even be called schools. And that, I think, was some weeks ago. My thinking is that by now, has that process, is it still ongoing, or has it been completed, where we were shown, videos, evidence of rehabilitation of schools? So now, and that was done, I think, before the governor had commissioners. Now there will be some commissioners, maybe education, maybe works, who are going to be directly in charge. So if it hasn't been completed, those projects can only be accelerated.
Yeah, can you hear me, Buhari?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, I think if I get you right,
Yes.
your question is that some of the schools that are under that were dilapidated, that were in the process of being constructed. Your
yes.
question is, how many of the schools
being
have
refurbished?
completed?
Yes. Is the work still in? Is it still in progress? Is the focus still very sharp on that particular?
Yeah, in some areas, some of these schools have been delivered already. In some other areas, it's still a work in progress. And even beyond that, what the governor did was to negotiate with the missions. And the idea is to hand over some of these schools back to the missions because of the moral aspect of their education and the ability to coordinate along that line. Because I attended a mission school many years ago, in the early 80s, and I know the importance of being trained under a mission environment, in terms of quality and in terms of having a good management team to run our educational institutions at that primary level and even secondary level. Because the schools I attended, virtually all of them were run by the Catholic Church before government took over those schools. So what the governor is doing is trying to have that partnership. And before you even hand over those schools, the government is trying to put them in very good states of infrastructural repair in the manner that the standards can be retained by those taking over those schools.
Okay.
The Commissioner for Education recently introduced, with ESCO backing, some policies, namely for siblings in the same school, because in the past, if you have two children in primary one, he would not be allowed to use a sibling's textbook. So the idea that you having two children, they can reuse textbook.
Okay. Okay.
So parents are very happy about that policy. And this indiscriminate practice of having graduation parties for those in kindergarten, in primary school.
Yes.
And these children now trying to do things that adults do. So that ban will also bring back sanity to our schools.
It's actually banned in Edo State now.
Burden on parents. Private school proprietors, impose very huge, levies on parents in the name of graduation.
Okay. Now, Elder Chima Eke. Elder Chima Eke in River State is waiting to join the program. I beg your pardon. Elder Chima Eke. Elder Chima Eke. Good morning, sir. Can you hear us? Elder Chima Eke. Okay. Sorry. As you were speaking, Elder Chima Eke had called in, so we thought we could, actually manage not to lose him. But in the event, we did lose him. But I also heard what you had said as well. So definitely, it looks like
recently, passed by the Ministry of Education through the Office of the Commissioner. Is meant to promote educational excellence and not the economic interest of organizing graduation parties for those in nursery and primary school. So it is when you finish your basic education, you are going to senior secondary, that you can even talk of graduating from one level of education to another. Then when you are now leaving the secondary education, when you finish your work, you can have such events. But of course, such events will also be regulated, not to allow any form of deviant behavior or social vices from an event that should be solemn and honorable.
Yes. It was becoming something of an outrage, but thank God that Edo State has sort of dimmed its eyes at that whole practice. Also waiting to join us now is Olatoye Durosimi, AIG retired. Good morning to you, sir. Mr. Durosimi, good morning. Can you hear us?
Good morning, Uncle Lori. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good morning. Please go ahead now.
Yeah,
we can hear
morning.
you.
The Edo State governor is an example of a silent speaker but a loud performer. He's more or less like it is not the night that make the music, but it's the quality of the music we are playing.
Mm-hmm.
He has done that by revitalizing the Edo transport line, which to some people are dead, but he has brought it to life. It's one of the pride of Edo State. He has done that in terms of infrastructural development. Some rural areas who are not able to get to town or with the agricultural product, he has been able to make that possible. That's an achievement. And scoring very well in the election is a reward for the performance of the governor. But I want the governor to look into Edo breweries, whether it's still there. You can still bring it back. That's a great job for so many Edolites who are not having the job for now. And another achievement you can see, area it has one of the richest land, fertile land I can talk about. And if we work on the agriculture, definitely we're better off. It's a beautiful place to work. And at the same time, security. It needs to work on the security in conjunction with the Commissioner of Police of Edo State to ensure that people who are passing through Edo State, it's like a gateway state. People going to the east, going to the north are passing through that place. And sure, by the time we work together with the Commissioner of Police, security will be top brass. He has done well. The 2.5 million food he actually promised the president is loading. That is my take.
Thank you very much, Mr. Latoye Rosimi, AIG retired. Appreciate your calling in. Andrew, as he was saying there, many people, well, depending on your age, many people will remember, was it Bendel Line, which has now metamorphosed, and today we're talking about the Edo Line. At least there's an heritage there. Go ahead, comment on the, the submission of that viewer.
Yeah, thank you. I must commend Durosimi for what he said about what the governor has done so far, the area of security, bringing back Edo Line, one of those legacies of Ogbomodia and Ambrose Ali when they were in government.
That's right.
You asked if I was, around during, of course, I had entered most of those big Bender Line buses.
Yeah, no, agree me ask.
City, and they are parked in Swat when I was in secondary school.
Okay, fair.
I even slept in the bus to show how professional they were.
That's right.
At the end of Edo, and brought me back to my secondary school then in Ekpoma. I was in the boarding house.
Wow.
So, I mean, these were legacies we had that this governor is bringing back. The good news for Durosimi and other Nigerians is that the governor is planning to also bring back Bender breweries, but of course it will now be known as Edo breweries. So work on that has started. And I think that will be the work of the new commissioner that will be in charge of commerce and industry, because the governor already has a master plan of bringing back, Bender breweries. It was a promise he made, and he has the capacity from what he has done with Edo Line of bringing Bender breweries, which will now be known as Edo breweries, back. And in the area of agriculture,
yes,
the governor has done so well in providing new farm settlements that will allow local farm owners and farm holders to be part of agriculture that will be funded by government. A whole lot of mechanized equipment has been purchased, and the governor has started distributing this equipment along with other inputs like fertilizers and the rest to local farmers. Compare this with what Obaseki did. Obaseki did big bang agriculture, brought his friends from Lagos, gave them land. Most of them did not use the land, but most of them were keeping this land to use them as estates, housing estates in the future. But when the governor came on board, he now said he wants to bring back agriculture in the real sense of the word. So he has his back to land policy of allowing local farm owners, farm holders to be part of agriculture. Then for the private sector, those in manufacturing and processing of food, they now come to take this farm produce. And I think in the next 1 year, most of the farms, would have been, harvesting their crops. And I think the media will now be in its searchlight to see what the government is doing with agriculture.
Indeed.
Just to achieve food sufficiency.
There's also, we don't have the time, but I'm sure that there's also work ongoing on accommodation. That's across the country, it's an issue. But I'm sure there must be plans in the works for that as well by the governor. Okay, it seems like you didn't hear that, and we've run out of time, so I won't bother to repeat the question, because my fear that even if you were to take the question on, we wouldn't even have the time to absorb all that you would be saying. But let me just say, one, apologize to you that We had our technical issues, which ate into the program. But I want to thank you very much, Andrew Mwanta, for coming on the program and, cluing us in on, developments, especially focusing on the politics in Edo State. Thank you once again for coming on. Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folare. Bye-bye for now.
Following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Are you ready for a clearance sale deal that will transform your kitchen? Tired of spending endless hours in the kitchen, struggling with bulky appliances? Cooking should be a delight, not a chore. Tired of messy cleanups from kitchen tools that never seem to perform as expected? Do you wish there was a single solution to handle all your blending, chopping, and grinding needs? Introducing the CookX 4-in-1 Blender, the ultimate kitchen tool to revolutionize your cooking. It's a food processor, mixer, grinder, and blender. All in one, the incredible CookX 4-in-1 Blender comes with 3 versatile cup sizes, each tailored to handle a specific task perfectly. The CookX 4-in-1 Blender elevates your cooking, allowing you to effortlessly create truly smooth smoothies. No more stopping, stirring, or straining. Just smooth, consistent results every time. This adaptable blender includes 3 convenient cup sizes, each designed for specific tasks to simplify your life. The 650 milliliter cup, the 450 milliliter cup, the 1.8 liter cup. Additionally, the CookX 4-in-1 Blender features a convenient filter, allowing you to create smooth, pulp-free juices. The secret of the CookX Blender lies in its 800-watt motor, combined with a precision extractor blade, providing the power to transform ordinary foods into extraordinary dishes. And with multiple speeds, you get complete control over any recipe you create. Savory stews, delicious egusi in just 10 to 30 seconds, perfectly blended beans for akara or moi moi in 1 to 3 minutes, and everything in between.
The CookX 4-in-1 Blender has been a game changer for me. It takes the hassle out of meal prep and lets me whip up healthy treats for my family in no time.
The CookX 4-in-1 Blender is the only blender I use in my kitchen. Its variable speed control lets me achieve the exact texture I need for each dish.
The CookX 4-in-1 Blender is now available exclusively on ShopX TV. For a limited time, we're offering an exclusive clearance sale price with up to 50% off. Typically, you might pay up to 350,000 naira for a blender that doesn't even break down and pulverize stems, seeds, and skins. But call now and get the CookX 4-in-1 Blender. Not for 250,000 naira, not even for 200,000 naira, but just 100,000 naira only. That's a saving of over 120,000 naira. Incredible! And that's not all. Call the number on your screen now or scan the QR code to order the CookX 4-in-1 Blender, and we'll also deliver the CookX 4-in-1 Blender to your door for free. But hurry, this clearance sale deal is for a limited time only. Stock is running out fast, so don't miss this opportunity to upgrade your kitchen at an unbeatable price.
Proceeding is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Every second, every minute, every hour, and every day, time doesn't just tick away. It counts down to political decisions that shape our world.
This country must move.
Imagine the impact these decisions have on our lives. Some are consequential, others may leave us intrigued or baffled.
You will have no better friend and partner than Nigeria.
Step in and feel the frenzy like never before. Join me every weekday for an hour of fact-finding interviews where questions cut to the core.
How would you say your administration has fared in these sectors?
I will dig in to get to the heart of issues, from local politics to global insight. Join me as I unearth the power plays, jaw-dropping revelations, and the unfiltered truth. This isn't just politics, it's unraveling the stories that matter. Brace yourself for Politics Tonight every weekday at 8 p.m, where every decision echoes along the corridors of our lives. Politics Tonight, only on TVC News.
Delta.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, where the black gold continues to flow and fuel Africa's largest economy, where the line between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Oil, gas, politics, development, and community issues all are highly valuable commodities in the Niger Delta. How do they combine, and how can they work together to spawn a new era in the Niger Delta? Join award-winning ace broadcaster Mahmoud Felix Akuga on TVC News every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. and Saturdays at 3:30 p.m. as he probes deep to analyze issues in the region from angles never before explored. Inside the Niger Delta with Mahmoud Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello and thank you for joining us on TVC Media News. I'm Olamide Adeyemi. We start off from Brazil, where President Bola Tinubu has arrived in Brasilia from the United States to commence a state visit. President Bola Tinubu was received by the senior Brazilian government officials at the Brazilian Air Force. Nigeria's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Bianca Ojukwu, was also at the airbase reception. Other ministers, heads of key government agencies and private sector members who will participate in a string of bilateral talks and MOU signings later welcomed the president to his hotel. At the Planalto, the president and the president of the Federative Republic of Brazil, Leo Inácio Lula da Silva, will hold talks followed by expanded bilateral meetings attended by senior officials of both governments. The special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, in a statement also mentioned that President Bola Tinubu will meet with the President of the Brazilian Senate at the National Congress, the President of the Chamber of Deputies, and the President of the Supreme Federal Court. He will also participate in the Nigeria-Brazil Business Forum as part of a packed program in Brasilia on Monday. And now to Southeast Nigeria, where the Nigerian Bar Association is holding its 65th annual conference. NBA President Afam Osigwe asked members of the association to remain dedicated, resilient, and focused while upholding excellence and visibility in the legal profession. He also emphasized the need for lawyers to always act in the best interest of the legal profession and the country. Senior reporter Bamidila Ajayi has more.
It is the 65th edition of Nigerian Bar Association Annual General Conference, bringing together dignitaries from across the country and beyond in Enugu State. The 5,000 capacity International Conference Center Enugu was filled to the brim, with the main hall packed and other conference halls linked for simultaneous session. The NBA President Afam Osigwe delivered the conference keynote address, anchored on the theme, Stand Out and Stand Tall.
It is a challenge to stand out, to be visible, not for show, but for service, excellence, resilience, dedication, focus, perseverance, and service to prosper.
The keynote speaker and leader of South Africa, opposition party economic freedom fighter, condemned what he described as lopsided application of justice in global arena.
The illegal taking of land, the killing of children, and the deliberate starvation of populations are crimes under the Roman Statute of the International Criminal Court.
Declaring the conference open, the host governor Peter Mba outlined the state's policy on judicial autonomy aimed at enhancing efficiency, independence, and the dignity of the courts.
We were among the first states to fully implement financial autonomy for the judiciary. This has enhanced the efficiency, independence, and dignity of our courts.
The Sultan of Sokoto commended the tenacity of Nigerian lawyers and urged them to champion the cause of good governance in the country.
It is also my hope that we can find time to address the issues of social justice so that we can address the glaring inequalities in our societies and create a more integrated society.
With the commitment of lawyers to restore law and order in our country, I do hope that lawyers will leave this conference determined to actualize the resolutions that will be adopted.
The 2025 NBA Annual Conference, which has attracted over 20,000 delegates, is expected to run for 5 days, with the hope that its communique will serve as a blueprint for Nigeria's institutional reform and sustainable development. Here was just the conclusion of the first ceremony of the 2025 NBA Conference here in Enugu, Southeast Nigeria, where resolution and commitment were made. It is believed that the communique that will come out from this conference will be a solid document that will be respected and will put into implementation for the development of the country, judicial system, and democracy. Bamidele Ajayi, TVC News, Enugu.
And now to electoral matters. The Independent National Electoral Commission has flagged off in-person voter registration in Lagos State. In an interview with TVC News, INEC confirms that a minimum of 3 registration machines have been deployed to each local government area. In Alimosho, 4 machines were assigned, but only 2 have been deployed at the INEC office. The in-person registration begins exactly 1 week after the Commission launched its online pre-registration portal. And for more on this development, Resident Electoral Commissioner for INEC, Professor Ayobami Salame, joins me on the news. It's good to have you join us at this time. Give us an update on how the response of voters have been to this exercise since it began.
Thank you very much. I am happy to confirm that the in-person continuous voter registration exercise has successfully taken off in Lagos State this morning, and the exercise is taking place in 21 designated locations. These are our 20 local government area offices and our state office here in Yaba. And from the report I've received from the field, the turnout has been very impressive. And we actually emphasized this, and we made adequate preparation for it in terms of deployment of materials and personnel. Just like you have reported earlier on, we deploy minimum of 3 machines, that's average machine, to each of the local governments. And in some places where we have higher populations, we deploy 4 machines, just like the Alimosho local government. And so far, the report has been very good.
You've already touched on that. I wanted to ask about how many registration centers are currently operational in Lagos State and if they are evenly distributed. But talk to us about staffing and equipment. Would you say INEC is really ready for this process?
Like I said earlier on, we are adequately prepared. We have enough machines, we have enough personnel, and to ensure that people don't stay too long before they are attended to. And that is what we have been doing since the commencement of the exercise today.
Let's talk about inclusiveness. How is INEC addressing issues of accessibility, especially for persons with disabilities and the elderly? These are some of the concerns that have been raised, not just in the current process, but also in the past elections.
We have also made adequate arrangement in terms of that. For instance, those people living with disabilities, they are given priority and they are given preference when they come to the registration center. Not only them, the pregnant women, the elderly people, all these people, when they come, they are given preference and they are attended on time.
So give us a time frame. How long is this process expected to last?
Well, for now, we expect the exercise will last for 1 year. It started last week with the pre-registration, and it's expected to run till the 30th of August, 2026.
I will just wait for how the process continues. But that's a fine place to leave the conversation now. It's a story we are staying on. Thank you for talking to us. Resident Electoral Commissioner INEC, Professor Ayobami Salami. And now to security matters. The federal and Katsina state government have announced new security measures to address growing concerns over insecurity in Katsina state and other parts of the country. Now, this comes in response to the recent attack on Gidan Mata, where bandits killed 27 worshippers and abducted many others. TVC News correspondent Abdulatif Yusuf reports.
The multifaceted response from the state, local and federal governments is now clearly visible. This is especially evident in the visit by senators and other lawmakers representing the area at the National Assembly. And on behalf of the state government and ourselves, we are distributing food relief supplies with a total value of 10 million naira. To further support our communities in rebuilding, I will be making a personal donation of 100 bags of rice and 200 bags of cement. Despite the effort, the mood remains tense, with locals still grieving and demanding immediate solution to the escalating security crisis. Only God truly knows the depth of the struggle we have faced together with the state in our quest to end this insecurity. We solemnly assure you that this will be the last such act of inhumanity to occur here. Back in Katsina, the search for a lasting solution has led the government to convene a security stakeholders meeting at the government house to brainstorm further strategies.
At least in securing 4 out of the 8 frontline local governments. You know that.
The acting governor, who also expressed concern over the worsening security situation, unveiled 8 new armored personnel carriers purchased by the state, among other efforts to curb banditry.
We have also sought the intervention of federal government. Yesterday, our members in the National Assembly, the senators and the members of the House of Reps, met with the leadership of the security forces. They had a meeting with the Chief of Defense Staff, and they also met with the Chief of Army Staff. We are getting support in terms of personnel and assets.
What is remain is for our people to see the need for them to participate in this fight against banditry. It is a grassroots crisis. It is a community-driven crisis, and this community-driven crisis need community-driven approach.
While some parts of the state are beginning to enjoy relative peace due to recent dialogues with bandits, other areas are gradually being engulfed by a new wave of brutal attacks. However, the recent announcement by the Army headquarters of a more formidable army base in the southern part of the state is widely expected to significantly improve security. Abdulatif Yusuf, TVC News, Katsina.
Well, in other news, the Sokoto-Rima River Basin Development Authority has assured farmers and residents that the Groyoyo Dam is safe despite ongoing daily water releases to prevent flooding. Managing Director of the River Basin Development Authority, Abubakar Malam, emphasized that these strategic releases are part of the annual action plan to protect farmlands and communities downstream from flooding and dam damage. He said while the situation is a challenge affecting the dam's capacity, the authority is working to address the situation through stakeholder cooperation and responsible management to water discharge to ensure the facility's integrity and prevent harm to communities. Mr. Malam said this after conducting routine inspections on the facilities and water passages in the dam.
At this point, I want to assure members of the public, especially farmers, fishermen, canoe operators and other stakeholders that there is no cause for alarm with regard to daily water release from Groyoyo Dam. The most important thing to do is to align their respective activities with our action plan and avoid erecting structures on waterways to safeguard against flooding and its attendant effects.
You're still watching TVC Media News. We'll be back with more stories after this break. Stay with us.
I'm Nifemi Oguntoye, news anchor with TVC News.
My day is usually busy and it's difficult keeping up with breaking news stories, trending stories, business news, stock exchange and what have you. But with TVC News on WhatsApp, I'm able to catch up with all the breaking news, real-time updates and trending stories on the go, right on my phone, no matter where I am. It's quick, easy and always on. And hey, you can join us by scanning the QR code or using the link on our X and Instagram. Why wait? Come to the side of news that keeps you ahead. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I am sure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Jackson, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Thanks for staying with us. Now to politics. Members of the All Progressives Congress, loyal to the gubernatorial aspirant, Kayode Ojo, has asked the governor of Ekiti State, Biodun Oyebanji, to desist from forcing loyalty on party members. The group disclosed this on Sunday in Ado-Ekiti during a chat with journalists, where the group is also questioning the use of federal government allocation, as well as internally generated revenue in state development. The group alleged that party members who were not loyal to the state governor are constantly harassed by security operatives. Reacting to issues raised by the group, the State Commissioner for Information, Taiwo Latuboso, said Ekiti residents recognize the landmark achievement of Governor Biodun Oyebanji and are clamoring for him to contest for a second term in office.
As true Democrats, we have been carrying out the exercise with decency and intensity, devoid of character assassination and any acts of thuggery, buoyed by our resolve to rescue Ekiti State from economic bondage and political servitude. Accountability. Our deep concern is fueled by the inexplicable stagnation ravaging Ekiti State.
During the COVID-19 era, Engineer Kayode Ojo was a member, active member, and he donated a lot of money to assist our people in the whole local government. So if our governor now is saying that Engineer Kayode Ojo is not contributing to the party in the state, you, the gentleman of the press, you can see who is.
Their ignorance of the workings of government. My belief is that for you to come to just challenge the government, you need to be equipped with facts. An opinion, individual opinion or assumptions cannot replace facts and cannot replace records. What we are doing, what we have done with the state's resources, the entire Ekiti people can feel it.
The management of Mambila Beverages Company has dismissed social media reports suggesting that a Kenyan tea company has withdrawn from its partnership with the state-owned tea firm. The company dismissed and described the claims as baseless and misleading. Senior reporter Owolabi Adinisi reports.
Reviving Mambila Beverages and elevating Taraba Highland tea to international standard remains a key priority of the Governor Agbo-Kefa's led administration. As part of this effort, a strategic partnership has been initiated with a leading Kenyan tea company to provide staff training and invest in the state's tea production value chain. Addressing the meeting shortly after a board meeting chaired by the Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Kara revealed that the staff of the company have benefited significantly from training and capacity building provided by the Kenyan partners.
The people writing on the social media were not among the team that went to Kenya, neither they are aware of the true position of what is happening. Our trip to Kenya, I think there was a press release to that. We went to Kenya. We've learned from what they are doing. There are investors that shows interest. They attended Taravest. We went to them to Sardana local government. The first plan we have with them is for them to train us, is to train our staff. An arrangement has been made for our staff, basically our field workers, factory workers, to travel to Kenya and learn from their wealth of experience. And I think we're done with that arrangement very soon. Our team will be going to Kenya. After that one, the Kenyan promised to come in the area of expansion.
He also announced that the company has recorded over 110 million naira in profit within 6 months since he assumed office as managing director. Dr. Kara attributed the improved financial performance to the implementation of strategic reforms, including the declaration of a state of emergency in the company and aggressive revitalization of tea plantations.
Another laudable achievement that is worthy to mention is the tea plantation revitalization. For quite some time, there was no good agronomic practices. When I assumed the office of the acting managing director, we declare state of emergency on massive pruning, weeding, to ensure that we increase the productivity.
On staff welfare, the MD said the management has fully implemented the new national minimum wage and introduced additional welfare packages to cushion the effects of the current economic situation.
And 16 years old, the Treasure Writers Bootcamp continues to teach children life lessons beyond academics. What began with just a few kids by the founder, Eugenia Abu, is now a program families look forward to every summer. Mira Mohammed reports.
Children between the ages of 7 and 14 are once again gathering for the Treasure Writers Summer Boot Camp, a unique program that blends learning, creativity and civic responsibility. It's all started when the founder, Eugenia Abu, sought a different kind of summer school for her children, one that went beyond academics to instill kindness, leadership and the value of giving back.
Children vote for their own ambassador who will represent them for the rest of the year. It's a week-long summer boot camp, so Monday to Friday, and on Saturday we have a party. The kids tend to enjoy themselves a lot and they find that they are learning new skills.
At the camp, children elect their own ambassadors, visit orphanages, learn charitable giving and discover skills like gift wrapping and self-expression, all while enjoying fun activities. Facilitators say the boot camp is not just for fun, but also preparing children for the future.
Should be able to observe and write what they see, write good essays, because after their observations, when we take them out, we usually tell them to come and write essay about what you saw.
An observation for the children, teaching them maybe like you go out, observe your environment when you're at home, and also then you come back to write an essay.
Parents say the program is invaluable and urge others to enroll their children.
I will advise parents, during summer holidays like this to avail themselves with such an opportunity, aside from the normal academic classwork.
Children themselves, the experience is one they say they will carry into their everyday lives.
I've been learning how to write short essays. I've done sip and paint. It was really fun.
I've been able to learn digital responsibility, I've learned finance, I've learned many stuff in this place. I've learned science, I've learned art. We even painted yesterday, which was really fun.
We had amazing resource people who came to give us talks and teach us about why observation matters. We learned about leadership roles and skills.
This summer boot camp has proven that education is not only about classrooms and textbooks, but also about raising social responsible and confident children. Mariam Mohammed, TVC News, Abuja.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security has reaffirmed its commitment to advancing agricultural transformation in Nigeria. This was said at the validation workshop of the 2022-2024 Agricultural Joint Sector Review Report and the launch of the third National Agro-food Systems Investment Plan held in Abuja. Speaking at the workshop, the Permanent Secretary of the ministry, Marcus Ogobiyi, said the exercise aligns with the Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program, a framework adopted in 2003 to drive agricultural growth, food security, and economic development across Africa.
Nigeria has committed substantial investment in the agricultural sector through various initiatives, ranging from the launch of the special agro-processing zones in some states of the Federation, in Kaduna, in Cross River, and in Oyo. These initiatives were designed to increase production and productivity, enhance commodity value chains, create jobs, improve livelihoods, reduce post-harvest losses, promote inclusivity and resilience in agriculture.
As you are aware, agriculture is the backbone of our economy and a critical element in achieving food security, enhancing livelihoods, and promoting sustainable development. This meeting provides us with a unique opportunity to examine our achievements as well as our constraints and to strategize on how we can work together more effectively.
That's it on TVC. This for more updates on the stories we are monitoring. You can visit our website on www.tvcnews.tv. You can also follow us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and on X at TVC News and YouTube. We are live at TVC News Nigeria. We also have update for you on WhatsApp and Telegram at TVC News Nigeria. Thanks for watching.
Breaking news isn't just about speed, but more importantly, about fact and accuracy. It is responsible journalism, being ahead, unbiased, sensitive, in telling the stories that people would want to hear in a way that protects their sanity and for the public good. And it goes beyond breaking the news to actually following up, exploring all the angles, engaging newsmakers, tracking impact, all geared towards informing, educating, and setting agenda for the people. Breaking news is holistic, entire, complete. It's about you, me, and the world we live in. Breaking news is at the core of what we do at TVC News, and it's the honor of my life to serve you this news, fresh off the press.
TVC News, first with breaking news.
The symbol of the Ashanti nation, there was a disagreement among the members of the Ashanti government at Kumasi on how to go about this. In 1900, she led the Ashanti War, also known as the War of the Golden Stool, against the British Empire. The Ashanti-British War of the Golden Stool, also known as the Ya Ashantiwa War, was led by Queen Mother Nana Ya Ashantiwa with an army of about 5,000. During the fighting, Queen Ya Ashantiwa and 15 other closest advisors were captured, and they too were sent into exile to the Seychelles. Her dream for an Ashanti independence from colonial rule was realized on 6 March 1957, when the Ashanti Protectorate gained independence as part of Ghana. Ghana was the first African nation in West Africa to achieve this feat. She was a successful farmer and mother, an intellectual, a politician, a human rights activist, a queen, and a war leader. Nana Ya Ashantiwa died in exile in the Seychelles on 17th October 1921.
Meet Benga Oreshegun, a fearless voice and an advocate for the truth. He's bringing fresh energy and bold insights to Journalists Hangout.
Get ready for deeper analysis and dynamic perspectives. Join me and Babajide Kolade Otitoju with other veteran journalists on Journalists Hangout. Weekdays from 5 p.m. and on Sundays, 1:30 p.m.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Sharon Ijason. On this week's edition of the program, we'll be focusing on the role that the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund plays towards advancing the welfare of workers across the country. It's the fourth edition of the Pengassan Energy and Labour Summit, a platform where industry leaders and labor representatives converge to tackle challenges facing Nigeria's oil and gas sector. This year, the issue of anti-unionization practice dominated discussions. The president of Pengassan, Festus Osifo, issued a firm warning to companies preventing workers from organizing, stressing that such action violates both national and international labor laws.
I think it is also auspicious to say this. There are some companies today, there are few companies today in Nigeria that are preventing members from joining the union. In fact, there is a company, Double One PLC. Double One PLC, as we speak today, is giving their workforce letters to sign that they will not join the union. This is 21st century. This is 2025, and we still have companies indulging in this. We wish to use this medium to let them understand that they must cease and desist, because if they don't, we will surely come after them.
Beyond labor rights, the summit also focused on building a more resilient sector through improved safety standards, sustainable practice, and strategic investment.
In 2024, we met and talked about business transformation and technologies. We also talked about divestment and theft, and I shared a perspective. On divestments, I shared that on the other side of that transaction is an investor, an entity, a buyer seeking to tap into the inherent growth potential of the business being acquired. Today, we are able to witness the power of those transactions that concluded last year. Many indigenous operators, you represent some of them, have been able to do what is the calling of this industry, and that is to sustain and build production. And the operators who sold those businesses are now able to bring their best to deep water exploration and production.
And Pengassan is demonstrating that collaborative partnership that would set the tone for a resilient and a sustainable oil and gas company. He equally said that we are not only interested in building an oil and gas sector that will survive, but one that will thrive on the backbone of HSE.
The consensus from the summit is clear. Securing the future of Nigeria's oil and gas industry depends on respecting workers' rights and fostering a collaborative environment for sustainable growth. At a recent retreat of the National Assembly Joint Committees on Labor, Employment and Productivity, conversations centered on the role of Social Security in achieving economic resilience with NSITF emerging as a focal point of reform efforts. The fund's turnaround under Managing Director Oluwaseun Faleye was acknowledged, particularly in the area of prompt claim processing and institutional accountability.
We are here in Lagos today because we understand that transformation is a continuous journey, not a destination. This retreat is therefore not a ceremonial exercise. It's a working mission, even though the National Assembly is in recess. The motivation and commitment of members to be here this morning, despite that, in their large numbers, speaks to your commitment to these issues. It is therefore an open invitation to reimagine how governance, oversight, and operational leadership can reinforce the values of safety, justice, inclusion, and impact.
But participants at the retreat also emphasized that legal backing and state-level enforcement remain major gaps in Nigeria's social security ecosystem, one that still leaves many workers unprotected.
Equitable compensation to the employee who suffers diseases, injuries, and disabilities, or in the case of death, to their dependents. Other benefits include, but not limited to, ensuring children of the deceased worker are taken care of and educated to degree level. Secondly, payment of medical bills of beneficiaries. And thirdly, providing vocational rehabilitation to get the worker back on the path of productivity.
As stakeholders push for a broader legislative framework and increase public awareness, the spotlight remains on how well NSITF can sustain its reforms and deepen trust in social insurance system.
Ensure workplace standards.
With unemployment and underemployment still a challenge in Nigeria, many believe social protection is no longer optional, but a necessity. When workplace accidents strike, they raise bigger questions about social security, compliance, and the safety nets available to Nigerian workers. Beyond the pain of injury or loss, the challenge often lies in how survivors and families can rebuild their lives. I met with Ademola Femi Peter in his home in Ipaja, Lagos. He recounts how a normal day on his way to work ended in tragedy. A trained fire and safety expert, his accident left him unable to walk again.
I stayed in Islands. During the weekends, I come around to see my family. So on my way back to Islands, where I work, that is when the incident happened. Some other people too were affected because the general public was not my car. But when the incident happened, everybody find his own level, and it's you and your family that you bear the brunt, and that's how we've been managing since the incident happened. I was advised in the hospital that I should be doing my physiotherapy, which they said that is the only alternative that I have for now. I have to engage a personal physiotherapy, which I do pay 100,000 every month. So I make it every day's routine, because most of what we understand about spinal cord, they said the first 6 months, whatever you can regain determines the level of the permanency or some of the activity we'll be able to do aftermath. So because of that, I try as much as possible based on the advice, and I was trying to do it. So, and here we are.
After weeks at the National Orthopedic Hospital, initial support from his employer ran out. But through the NSITF, Ademola has since received monthly compensation, helping him sustain his family and rebuild his future.
Since the accident happened, NSITF have been paying something every month regularly without defaulting, and we don't need to call anybody before they do that. When they called me for assessment and what have you, I was surprised what is all about assessments. And after a while, both the arrears of some months from the months that the incident happened was paid, and since then they have been helping. Then coupled with my church, they have been mostly during that period that they were doing a lot of things just to make sure that my family were able to cope. Then when the NSITF came in, they just makes the situation more easier. Last month, I was called to come to United for some kind of seminar. They call it Back to Work. So on getting there, you meet different people of challenge like you. So we were able to interact. You discover that sometimes when you are within the environment, you thought you are the only one. But on getting to that place, I met some people with spinal cord, with different kind of injuries.
Another beneficiary, Nkechi Otikpo,